Ho ho buddies, welcome to Borderline Games. I'm Gareth and today we're playing Of the Devil. New game. Don't know who this is. We haven't even got a title card yet, but let's go with what we see so far. We see this is a work of fiction. I think it's like a detective, Ace Attorney adjacent game. I've started the record here because who knows, maybe there's going to be something fun. Maybe it's just going to transition into something very normal. Let's find out. So, this is a work of fiction. Very normal. So far, very normal. I can handle that. New case. Right, so we're going to start with episode 0. This is essentially like a demo, I guess. So, episode 0. Of the Devil. Do I click? Yes. Rain sizzles off neon above me. The summer shower creates a noted uptick in the flickering of holograms down the street, and a slight blunting of the night's ambience. Emphasis on slight. Lights, cameras, and constant noise. This city's got insomnia, with the uneven heart rate to prove it. There's no escaping the second-hand nervous energy of it all, but I'm pretty acclimated. Just a wave of worries cresting on the surface, while I hold my breath deep below. I like how this is written so far. Besides, a microdose of nightlife anxiety suits my mood just fine. Because if I'm not careful, this client of mine's gonna die in jail. Morgan. Criminal attorney. It's hard to get away with murder these days. People are still presumed innocent, at least on paper. By the time they're in cuffs, there's hardly any shadows of doubt left. Because his whole world's lit up, mapped out, never unknown and always online. Whether it's incandescent or neon or holo. Is that right? Holo? Whether it's LCD, LED, or just the nearest phone screen. Holo. As in holographic. As in a hologram. There's light shining on every last pixel of the map. And someone's always watching. Solitude's a rarity. Anonymity is scarce. I can read. And criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. So you take whatever clients you can get. You don't balk at public defender work no matter the hour. And should you find yourself in one of the last dark, quiet corners left in the whole world, well, smoke me if you got 'em. She's cool. Not that there's much else I can do until... My phone? Counselor, your public defender contract has been approved. You're expected at the 254th precinct present... the 254th precinct. Present your ID at the door to enter. Arrive at least 15 minutes early. I'll try. Heart emoji. Looks like the paperwork came through. It's nearly 3:15 now. 90 minutes since I took the job. Probably makes it about 2 hours since they finally got smart enough to ask for a lawyer. If they're really smart, they'll have to use that time to get some rest. Because now that I'm here, things are going to get busy. Of the Devil, episode 0. 1. Oh, and he shall appear. Disable tutorials, you can turn them back on in settings. I think we'll keep tutorials, thank you very much. I like your confidence in me, but we'll keep tutorials. Suspect hashtag not found. Precinct 254. It's a goddamn ghost town. With nothing but a hologram for a welcoming party. I'm here about a homicide. high clearance rates be damned. You think they'd treat it with a little more gravitas. But whatever. If I'm not unimportant, they've got no right to complain if I take my sweet time getting checked in. And I should take my time. Information's like cash in my line of work. You gotta spend it to make it. You gotta spend it to make it. And if you're flat broke, no one will give a shit about what you have to say. So let's see if I can't poke around and shake some change loose. Oh, it's like this. Oh, look at me. Whoa. Observe. An actual police lineup. It's like I walked into a museum. Though museums tend to feel expensive and clean. Dusty, forgotten, probably lots of unpacked boxes. You gotta spend it to make it, earn your first credit. This homicide department's more like an attic. Hard to believe they were ever so busy that they had to witness making IDs in the lobby. Then again, it's hard to believe that they were ever doing lineups in the first place. Are you certain? Wasn't it dark? Did you know that during traumatic events, memory formation is blah blah blah? Poking holes in that setup must have been like shooting fish in a barrel, and all during billable hours. But there's no room to sow doubt anymore, sow doubt. Not when a modded witness can just submit their testimony as a video recording. Assuming their phone didn't automatically file a police report for them. What else we got here? Examine. The medium's cracked in the corner. Looks bad, but my phone's made of the same stuff, and I'm rolling the dice every time it falls off the sofa. Could probably null the warranty on one of these things with a loud sneeze. At least it's not broken. Entirely. Even at this hour, it's still dutifully scrolling through its notifications. Looks like the usual 1-to-1 ratio of public health alerts and inoffensive pop culture trivia you always get served at state buildings. But there's a few missing persons too. 1 year silver plan coverage, courtesy of Caduceus, how do I say that? Caduceus, no, as a reward for any. Is that a name? That's gotta be a name, right? Silver's no joke. Family must be getting desperate. What else we gotta look at here? Read this. A data pad. Albeit, even when they're more advertisement than article, they can still be informative. In a flowery, roundabout, corporate propaganda sort of way. Oh, declaring the subway tunnels to be irreparably flooded. City engineers announced this week that all plans to drain and repair the system were being suspended indefinitely. Saltwater damage to sensitive electronic cabling and erosion of key tunnel fixtures were cited as reasons for why 89% of the subway system was evaluated as critically compromised or worse. Civil engineering efforts will be refocused on maintenance and expansion of the hybrid super infrastructure system that weaves together trams, highways, walkways and skyscrapers into the canopy, high above our city streets. Ballsy of them, putting the paywall there. As if I'd reach for my wallet after having to read a word like aesthetical. Besides, I got the gist of it. The takeaway is that the city will be focusing its efforts on... Uh-oh. I just read it, I wasn't taking it in. The canopy. Choose the proper takeaway. Yeah, okay. There'll be increasing scrutiny surrounding the canopy now that there's no plan B. It's a massive project with a massive budget. Lines the pockets of a lot of people, big and small. None of them would appreciate bad press at the moment, not when Councilman Long's already thoroughly chummed the waters. What else I gotta click on here? Do I need to move? No. I don't need to move. What have I missed? Ah! There's something there. High traffic hallways, utilitarian furnishings, multiple screening stations. Pragmatic brutalism, so textbook it could teach freshman level architecture. Could almost hear the building drone on and on about concrete and iron and hard right angles. The civil planning equivalents of battle scars. From a fight won so long ago that they're starting to look ridiculous. I'm sure it was all very imposing back when it was built. But walking in here now with crime rates where they are, feels like a hospice ward for heavy-handedness. Alright. I've taken in all the scenery and learned as much as I can here. Time to get checked in. It booted up fine. So far so good. Good morning! Morgan, here for the public defender contract. Could you please provide your name and... Great. Please stand still for a moment. I wouldn't call intake hollows charming. More like harmless. But that's probably what the designers were aiming for. People don't mind a quirk or two in their text so long as it never speaks out of turn. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble placing you. Could you please provide your name and date of birth? So far so good, was it? Scan my card. Just scan my face. Scan my face. Didn't you scan my face as soon as I walked in here? Yes. So don't you already know who I am? Yes. So the only reason you're asking is to see if I'll lie. Impersonating an officer of the court is a felony. Thank you for remaining vigilant. Say, why don't you just scan my ID card? Great! Now, could you just confirm your date of birth for me? Why do they even bother asking? My birthday's on the damn ID card and my profile. I'd have to be a world-class airhead to get this question wrong. No problem. My birthday's... Uh-oh. Am I supposed to know this? Boom. That's not quite correct. Would you like to try again? Right, still half asleep, I guess. Would you like to check your profile to be certain? How do I do that? Up here? Profile. Morgan. Oh, that's an unlucky birthday. You don't want your birthday the 26th of December? You're kidding me? Would kind of defeat the purpose of verification, wouldn't it? I'm sorry, but I'm not equipped to make judgments about the futility of security theatre. But you are allowed to say it's only theatre. No, I must have misspoken. What I meant to say was that my birthday is the 26th of December. December 26th. Perfect! Good morning, Morgan Counsellor. Thank you for your timely arrival and for taking on this public defender contract. If you're ready to speak to your client, you can proceed to Counselling Quarter 3C. Is that what we're calling it now? You mean the interrogation room? I'm sorry to have caused any confusion. My vocabulary is regularly updated to better reflect state standards. Don't sweat it. I can't keep track of every new euphemism either. They could call it the involuntary wellness check room if they like. Doesn't change the way it makes a person feel. Sitting in a stifled box of one-way panels. Nothing to see but their own reflection. Dully warped across gunmetal walls. Morgan Counsellor, can I help you with anything else? What are you? Why the disrepair? Let's find out that. That looks like it's going to be handy. I know the city's not terribly concerned with the lower wards, but this is a police station. Why is it so goddamn dusty? This facility is currently undergoing renovations. Since when? The 60s? It has been 22 months. Since the timetable was last updated. They really don't see a lot of action around here, do they? I'm sorry for the inconvenience you might have encountered. I'm adaptable. What about you? Are they ever going to fix that crack? Thank you for asking. It has not interfered with my work. Well, that's all that matters, right? What are you? What are you? I'm a smart user interface proudly sold by Noble Electronics. Thank you for asking. If you're interested, I could send you a link with information about our subscription packages. Should I send you a link with information about our subscription packages? No. Sorry. That was a mean question to ask. That'll be all, thank you. You'll find the counselling quarters past our homicide detective's office through the door to your right. Thanks. But I think it's just me for now. So you could go on break if you like. Automated dependents do not take breaks, Morgan Counsellor. Then what were you doing before I walked in? You'll find the counselling quarters past our homicide detective's office. Through the door to the right, thank you. Ads don't take breaks, and they don't get any jokes. But it's usually the humorless types that are the most fun to mess with anyway. Faint voice. Eyes gone bad or something? A voice? No. Voices coming from down the hallway. Compared to yours, probably. Thank God I stopped for directions. A building this empty, the desk could have just told me to follow the echoes. One voice sounds older, rougher, and decidedly lower energy. Appreciate you worrying about me. God forbid I try to be serious. While the other sounds youthful, rings with youthful indignation. It's not like our job is important or anything. Definitely cops. And at this precinct, at this hour, they might be the only two living, breathing people in the whole complex. Because why else would you bother to print all that out? One document or 100 looks the same on a datapad. Anytime you question a suspect, you need to have a heavy file in your hand. Makes them think you know them better than their priest, their mother, their big brother. I wasn't going to say that. So how many of these sheets were blank then? There they are. No red carpet tonight, officers. Who's the good cop? The young one? Oh, sorry about that, ma'am. We don't keep many hands around here. Extra hands around at these hours. Probably faster to let the desk handle intake anyway. Oh, you're the bad cop. You're the old cop. He's the old cop. You're the young cop. You both look young. I'm confused. Mostly cheaper. You're old. Right? Yeah? Or are you old? No, you're old. I don't know. You're the lawyer. I am. Morgan Esquire, pleased to meet you. Yeah, you're definitely older. Same here, counsellor. Casem, London. And the ball of sunshine here is my partner, Farah Reyes. Well, maybe not. You know what? I don't know. Well, he's going to have a croaky voice. She's going to have a different voice. Ball of sunshine. She certainly is. Huh. So if you were kept waiting, chatter between the departments has been hectic all night. It's no trouble. Give me time to enjoy my cigarette. Cigarette? Like tobacco? What are you, 80? She can't be more than a few years younger than me. Okay, so she's younger. We're the detectives in charge of this particular case. And it looks like tonight, we're also your humble guides to the illustrious homicide department. Apologies in advance for any cobwebs. Pretty sure I've seen this London character around the courthouses before. He never struck me as more than just some old-timer. He's old, okay? He's old. We got it. But I suppose being an old-timer is an accomplishment in and of itself in his profession. Sunshine is definitely a new face, though. Rigid in her posture and her attitude. 3 in the morning and her shirt still looks ironed. Freshly promoted, maybe. 2 whole detectives working at these hours. Sounds serious. Unless you were just the first to arrive on the scene. No. We're not nearly that timely. No, we're not nearly that timely. Uniforms responded to the emergency calls within a few minutes. Calls? Plural. Must have been quite the commotion. Look around. You think we're the first to arrive for anything? She's not wrong. We were only trapped after circumstances at the scene indicated involvement with an ongoing investigation. Our ongoing investigation. Not very subtle, is she? But I may as well bite at this point. So you suspect that this client of mine is involved in some separate criminal activity? Wait, did they really not? No, I guess they wouldn't put it in a public defender's briefing. Look, consider this a little professional courtesy. A fair warning, yeah? That's the heartbreak killer in that room. Ooh. And we've got the bastard dead to rights. So if you're kind, you'll help him plead it out. And if you're smart, you'll pass this shitstorm on to some other night owl and go back to bed. I'm not feeling particularly kind or smart at the moment. So perhaps in the meantime you'd be so kind, so polite as to fill me in about this heartbreak killer. They cover utilities at the rock band you live under? The rock you live under? Why did I say rock band? Is there a problem? You're seriously not familiar with HK? Never heard of him. I've heard enough of him for a lifetime. That name has been plastered all over the city for weeks. Their crimes wavering between breaking news and urban legend. Their presumed goals flip-flopping from unadulterated anarchy to unappreciated vigilantism. At street corners, in the media, on the net, everyone's indulging in the exact kind of armchair detective speculation that I can't stand. But right now I need to figure out exactly how much the police do or don't know. When it comes to cops, I always get better results playing dumb than I do acting smart. I take it he's a repeat offender. Was it the killer part that tipped you off? You must have at least heard about his MO. Media's gone crazy with it. Along with everyone else. One bullet straight through the heart. Body left to lie where it falls. Hence the name Heartbreak. Not exactly creative, but amidst the swirl of every other 100-word article out there, catchiness trumps originality. What you won't read about online is that all 6 of HK's victims were shot by the same gun, without even needing to reload, at the same time. Horrible to say how, but 6 for 6. No. Horrible to say, I know, but 6 for 6. So, he shot them all without having to reload his gun. Got it. So, he used all 6 bullets in his gun without reloading to shoot every one of his victims. That's pretty good shooting, isn't it? Hitting the bullseye at the shooting range is good shooting. Doing it 6 times in a row is great. But shooting 6 people with accuracy like that, it's a whole different beast. Takes a certain kind of monster. A real freak. His pulse probably didn't even rise. I see. Sounds robotic. You almost make him sound like a machine. Is it possible that... No. It is not. There's no such thing as killer robots, madam. Of course. My mistake. It's all those androids marching in the military, those robots patrolling in the police uniforms, those drones dropping firebombs from the sky. I guess they're all firing blanks. Fair enough. Machines can kill, and they've been there for decades, but they don't commit murder. Right. Evil like Heartbreak is all organic. It's a pretty terrifying thought. I should really start paying more attention to the news. How I managed to miss 6 murders. Well, you can only blame yourself for missing 5. Pardon? You're still not getting it. HK's 6th victim was found a few hours ago. When we caught the son of a bitch red-handed. So you're convinced that my client is this heartbreak killer and tonight was just his latest crime? That's a serious accusation, with very serious consequences. I take it you have serious evidence to back that up. I was being literal, counsellor. Red-handed. When we found your client, his hands were covered in blood. Nice. Well, that's not good, is it? What you say certainly sounds compelling. Is that lawyer talk for open and shut? But even if that's the case, how does one crime scene make him look good for 6 murders? It's all there is. It's all there in the discovery files and the ARCs, of course. Join the local net on your phone and we'll turn over everything you need. I'll bet. Thanks for that, detective. I'll be sure to read it over. But if it's all the same, could I ask you some questions while I've got you here? The hell kind of attorney wants to interrogate the detectives? This kind of attorney. You're just that pleasant. Come on, sunshine. Not like we're going to be punching out anytime soon, right? Whatever. Let your client stew in interrogation all night for all I care. You mean the counselling quarters? We're at your disposal, counsellor. Yeah. How do I click on them? What's that? Inspect. Inspect it. You shouldn't have cleaned up so much for just for little old me, Detective London. Someone really needs to introduce this guy to a filing system, or even just a stapler. Paper documents scattered about lazily, alongside actual photographs. Either he's really old-fashioned or really paranoid about data leaks. Hello. And he doesn't look like the paranoid type. Well, orderliness aside, some things are better in the paper, I'll give him that. Right, how do I inspect this? Barren, stark, and uninviting. This must be Ray's desk. Keeping your workstation neat and tidy is admirable, but I can't spot a single note of personalization. Is she so new that she hasn't had time to unpack, or is she really that uptight and boring? Huh? Both, maybe. Now, will you let me talk to them? Should I connect a controller? Is that going to be easier for me? Am I doing things the wrong way? Right, let's have a look. Ah! Whoa. Okay, stop. Right, latest mobile androids receive warm welcome, bolstered by a strong earnings report and surging sales of the Animate 16 Noble Electronics stock rose a stunning 3% this week. Okay, this is a thing, right? Many investigators were skeptical, investors, at the now infamous 2084 trade convention, the first generation of androids to feature over 50% organic components. So there's surging sales of the Animate 16 Noble Electronics stock rose. Okay. He's in the news again. I don't want it to be automated. Thank you. It's no wonder, can't spit without landing on a piece of noble tech these days. Especially not where the state's involved. Don't know if they'll bite when it comes to warm androids though. For government use, they're just too expensive. Or too frail. One of those. They're just too expensive to justify. Wait, what am I thinking? No state's ever had a problem with spending money on overpriced crap. Okay, it's not that. Excuse me for being an idiot. Observe that. I think I was having a better job with the mouse. Loose wires, missing panels, and an aircon system that probably sweats more than the people it's supposed to cool. No room in the budget for making the office not look like shit, huh? I expected to find a lot of belt tightening at Homicide, but I didn't think their operation would be this bare bones. They've got a stunning clearance rate, and they work fast. Guess the city sees that and just assumes their job is easy. Maybe their job is easy, but with our dear doting surveillance state eliminating so much of the footwork. But if your wheels don't squeak, you don't get your palms greased. So Homicide ends up as the only state department with a shrinking budget. A dumping ground for the police force's most unambitious and least popular. Okay, nothing else jumps out at me around here. I've got a better idea of who I'm dealing with at least. Now I need to check out the crime scene data. I should have been sent a link. You've been granted access to state files regarding case KL433511. Reply C to confirm. Confirm. Reply C, please. Needs to reply C. Am I talking to a person? Shut up. I'm an automated dependent. Ads are usually more polite. Our personalities are tailored to suit our users' preferences. So the state likes you to be a little authoritarian. You need to reply C. C. It's case sensitive. C. Thank you. Awesome. Alright, if I project from my phone... user portal authenticating. Oh, this is the crime scene. Nice. Augmented reality crime scene. Right, what do I click on here? Alright, let's see what the police have. And what they think is important. Inspect this. A stand-up mirror shattered and knocked over. Real glass, no screens or cameras here. It was hit hard enough to come unattached from its arm, while shards of glass, not grass, were scattered, far enough to land on the victim's body. What a mess. Gun. Body. Gun. Vase. Sofa. Can't look at that for sofa. Gun. The murder weapon, a revolver found right next to the body. 6 empty casings found in each of the 6 chambers, meaning the gun's been fired 6 times. Looks like the crime scene techs practically disassembled the damn thing. But all they found were fingerprints belonging to my client. So it was found by the police, with the murder weapon, right in front of the body. I don't even know where to start. Highly prejudicial. How do you say that? Prejudicial would be an understatement. Right? Is that how you say that? I'm an idiot. Okay, examine. The victim's body. Cause of death, ballistic trauma. Class 4 blood... Class IV? Class 4. Blood loss. Atrium and aorta. Single gunshot wound to the heart. In brief, death was instantaneous. No injuries anywhere else, and no blood or skin under her nails. Blood splatter forensics and all that other good stuff tells them that she was shot from there. So the killer was standing in the doorway when they fired. Alright, inspect this vase. Seems like this vase got tossed aside at some point. And yet there's not a scratch on it. Must be pretty damn durable. Isn't art supposed to be delicate? Maybe it's making a statement. That's all the big ticket items. What about the security? Looks like the apartment was unlocked at night. Unlocked all night. It's not uncommon for people their age in a neighborhood like this. But no signs of forced entry only hurts my client's case. What about the rest of the room? There's not much else flagged here, apart from that sofa. Just a lounge chair that got thrown and whatever that is. Unidentified ceramic debris. Flag as irrelevant? That's their technical assessment. Guess even the crime scene techs weren't sure what to do, what to make of it. Or what to do. Okay. That's everything that the police highlighted. Or did I miss anything? Let's have a look. What else could we have missed? The hell is that? It's just this thing here. The hell is that? Something in the victim's hand. How the hell did? It's just a pill organizer. A pill organizer. Looks like some immune adjusters, NSAIDs, and Triprexazone, a synthetic glucocorticoid medication. Taken daily to reduce rejection symptoms like phantom pain and generalized itch. The autopsy said her tox screen was clear, but it's not like it matters. She could have swallowed every medicine cabinet in the city and it still wouldn't change the cause of death. It's odd, but ultimately irrelevant. Or is it? Everything else here is all very incriminating, but the kicker's everything that's not here. No out-of-place DNA, footprints, crumbs. Nothing that points toward anyone except my client. It's too clean. Well, I've done more with less before. But not much more. I'm really going to have to sing for my supper this time. Better get started. Who the hell's messaging me at this time of night? First person who comes to mind is... I suppose it could be something important. Red. Some brat. What couldn't wait until morning? Good news, of course. Got a job for you. I don't think people would text with these abbreviations in what's the year supposed to be? 2080 something? That's a pretty cheery way to tell me you violated parole. Not that kind of job. Besides, I've been covering my tracks. This is something different. Kinda think I can't handle with just a keyboard and phishing scheme. I need you to sue my gym teacher. Not that kind of lawyer, sorry. Hey, at least let me finish. What do they do? Make me run laps. Not illegal. Let me finish. They made me run laps. Even though I said I had a stomachache. Said. Gotta be like, Youth endangerment. Who's this brat? Depraved indifference or some kind of shit? Sounds like you've already got a strong case. Try self-representing this time. What's with the blow-off? Nice phrasing. Oh wow, I'm laughing so hard right now. See? You're not laughing at all. Brat. Is that your mugshot? I wasn't gonna not get a copy of my mugshot and use it as a reaction. That's funny. Glad you found a use case. But I'm working right now, so... Anything cool? Homicide. Oh, cringe. Wait, what kind of homicide? Is it HBK? Is that the kind of morbid thing kids your age talk about? Teens my age. Thank you very much. And yeah, we can read. Compared to the corrupt shits in the headlines, old-fashioned murder like Hearty B is like, quaint. It's not heartbreak. They might take the job, lol. You see the 98% conviction rate as a challenge or something? You taking up lost cause, probe nose work. It's pro bono. That was autocorrect. Sure it was. You know they give lit homework for a reason, right? This is borderline concerned nagging. Maybe you really are a bleeding heart. Or just a sucker. I'm not a sucker. Nice phrasing. You should go to bread. You should go to bread, Fran. You go to bed, Fran. Tomorrow's Sunday, I can stay up if I want. Tomorrow is Sunday. Because today is Saturday. What's with the carp diem shit? It's nearly 4 AM, kid. You've got school in like 3 hours. I'm trying to move things on. Shit! What? Tomorrow is Sunday, because today is Saturday. It's nearly 4 AM, kid. You've got school in like 3 hours. Tomorrow is Sunday. What? Shouldn't it be tomorrow is Monday, because today is... whatever. You've got school in like 3 hours. Repeat offenders may be good for business, but that kid's bad for my blood pressure. Important text message, I take it. Just a typical teenage drama. So then, if you wouldn't mind filling me in on a few details. Give me details. Give me details. Androids and cops. Androids and cops. By the way, I couldn't help but notice that you're light on staff. It's 3 in the morning. 4 AM apparently. Were you expecting a parade? I thought there'd at least be a few androids around. Are many androids in any police station this week? Not while the brass is renegotiating contracts. Contract with Noble? Good guess. Hardly, they're the biggest. Hardly. They're the biggest robotics core there is. Could spend all day in Center City without leaving their office's shadow. Yes, we're very fortunate to have them headquartered here. Saved us some money on shipping at least. But these talks never last that long. I'm sure they'll be back to writing checks for Noble ads by the end of the month. At the end of the month. Whew. I'm tired this morning. Even with Noble pushing these warm androids. Warm? Ugh. Might as well call it the adult line. The adult line, the adult. Might see him in the bigger departments or out on patrol, but not around these offices. Warm or cold, there's no such thing as an android detective yet. Any day now. I guess we should be expecting those any day now. Maybe android lawyers too. And get some android politicians in and we'd have the full set. Get real. People might like ads who do what they're told. Ads is androids. But they despise ads who tell them what to do. I'm not so sure. Cameras, sensors, satellites. We already get all our facts from machines. Give it a few more years, it might make sense to let machines do the investigating too. The union would. The police union wouldn't let that happen. She needn't have specified, it's the only real union there is anymore. Heartbreak. Checking my phone here, and I have to say, you've done a pretty admirable job keeping the details of HK's crimes a secret. The less reputable sites are doing some real journalistic acrobatics trying to piece together a story. Yeah, top 11 theories on who hurt HK was a real weighty read. It's not just journalists, though. All kinds have been emboldened. The freaks that HK's managed to bring out of the woodwork in just a few weeks. Can you blame them, though? I mean, he's a genuine serial killer. Repeat offenders in general are an endangered species, but he's gotten away with it. We know what he's gotten away with. Take a look around us, Detective. National DNA registry's robust enough that cases never go cold. Cameras on every street, a phone on every citizen. Violent crime at an all-time low, and a clearance rate at an all-time high. But you're going to spout some alt-pol bullshit about invasion of privacy. No, I'm not. People are safer now than at any other time in history, detectives. So when someone like Heartbreak does come along... Good point. London's trying to look like he can laugh it off. But pressure from the higher-ups must be reaching its peak. They want, maybe need, to see someone charged, and that makes them predictable. What the fuck was that? Yeah, well, even if there's nothing standard about HK, Department SOP still dictates we starve the media for case details. That way, when we do feed them, they're grateful for whatever scraps they get. But we can't take all the credit this time around. Homicide's tight-knit and tight-lipped. Light-tipped. Tight-lipped, but it's not like there's much information for us to leak in the first place. And why's that? Because none of the shootings were caught on the opt-in crime surveillance service system, whatever it's called. Opt-in crime surveillance system. How is that even possible? I know that there are some rough areas in the lower wards, but optics is watching every other street in the entire city. You're saying you haven't seen this killer on camera once. You think we'd have let him kill 6 people if we did? I understand your concern, Mom, but optics is only what it says in the name. Private surveillance cameras systems signing up to feed into the state's security network. It's not perfect, just another one of the many public safety tools in our belt. It's not meant to be perfect, it's meant to help us solve crimes, or at least act as a deterrent. One would hope so. Fat chance. Deterrents are for war rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this couldn't care less about anything as vague as the consequence of their actions. It's like a safety blanket, one with very few holes left in it, but it does have holes. Patching up those remaining holes takes effort, and that effort usually means rebooting the system. There's all kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved, but the end result is that there are occasional, localized blackouts. And the math used to schedule them is not impossible to predict. I see. But those windows of opportunity are small and short. Taking advantage of them requires specific knowledge. You'd need to be involved in law enforcement, pub data, or city planning. They'd have mentioned it if my client was a cop, and he wouldn't have needed a public defender either. His file says he's modded for heavy mass manipulation, not tech interfacing, so that just leaves city planning. So does he work construction for the city? HK's only ever struck at times and locations where optics will be down. Even with the devil's own luck, it can't possibly be coincidence. Wait, so you're saying that when this woman was killed? Yeah. There was a blackout from around 8 to 9 tonight. Right on schedule, so to speak. And it included the area surrounding the victim's apartment. Well, what about DNA from the other crime scenes? Was my client a match? There's been no blood, no saliva, no suspect DNA at any of the crime scenes. No footage and no forensics. Also, no motives, tampering or witnesses.
It's been like hunting a damn ghost. We didn't even have a murder weapon. Until now. Finally. A lucky break for the boys in blue. Scanners. Cams. Drones. Forensics. No matter how you dress it up with tech, all detective work relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. Well, HK is the kind of monster who doesn't make mistakes. The only reason we ever caught him tonight was because he finished what he had set out to do all along. So what was my client on the list of suspects before tonight? When you're listening, there was no list of suspects. We questioned some X's, a few CIs, someone even spoke to one or two unlisted at some point. Nothing came of it. There was talk about starting on some kind of psych eval or something, but I never expected much to come out of that. There's just not enough there to work with. In other words, the only thing they could have to link my client to those killings is the murder weapon. If I can jostle that keystone, then the rest of their case should start to come loose as well. Give me the timeline. I saw the time of death was 9 PM on the autopsy. But do you have a timeline for the rest of the night's events? Can't trust much of the what comes out of his mouth. What? Oh, the guy, not this guy. That'd be a mean thing to say. But we've managed, thanks to less biased sources. You can't trust what comes out of this fucking guy's mouth. And we're pretty confident about what we've been able to piece together from their statements. So they interviewed witnesses. Sounds eerily similar to real police work. The suspect and his girlfriend were arguing loudly with one another starting around 8 PM. Neighbours were very clear about that part. Couldn't wait to tell us about the happy couple's domestic problems. Everyone in the building knew they'd been fighting for weeks. As you probably gathered from what you saw in the ARCs, there was a struggle. Furniture turned over, glass shattered. But things go quiet sometime before 9 PM. And then there's a gunshot. Scrubbers are still scrubbing, looking for audio from the area to get a timestamp. But we heard from enough concerned citizens to be pretty damn sure about the time. Right, emergency services got a burst of calls from the block shortly after 9 PM. No one seemed to recognise the sound for what it was. But the silence that followed was pretty universally alarming. Officers arrived on the street at 9:08 PM, established a perimeter, entered through the open door at 9:10 PM. And then they find your client crouched over his dead girlfriend, his hand covered in her blood. At which point they moved to secure the scene, and the suspect. Sorry, did you say his hand singular? Your client's modded cybernetic right arm. Oh. How modded are we talking about here? Registered with a Heyo 85 habilis, industrial grade, looks like. Says he's spec'd for dexterous manipulation of up to class 4 Kpa, which means a minimum grip strength of... Well, basically, he could crush your neck without even gritting his teeth. So why is he shooting people? Considering a career change? No, it's not that, it's just... Your eye must be very sensitive for you to put the patch back on each time. I didn't even notice she took it off. Put the patch back on each time. And here I thought you'd just had a 14-year-old sense of fashion. You think a cop would cover up her dominant eye because it was fashionable? I actually thought the same thing the first time we met. You what? We're getting back on track. That arm of his has been in the shop for some time now. You can't work without it, when he got tight. The arguing? Yeah. When did he put his arm in for repairs? 8 days before HK's first victim was killed. Someone's hacking into his arm and using it to kill. Well, no chance they'd be willing to chalk that up to a coincidence. A coinky dink. Your client was arrested on the scene after a preliminary scan found his fingerprints on the revolver. And no one else's. Revolver, what kind? The old kind. The real old kind. More specifically, a Calver M54. 6-chambered, 10mm. Calver. How retro. You don't know the half of it. We're talking steel chamber, real gunpowder, mechanical firing pin, and no tags. No tags? How is that? Just how old are we talking here? Yeah, 24/7 location data, timestamp trigger pulls, safety's coded to owner biometrics. For the past 3 decades, tags have made shooting crimes very unambiguous. So you're claiming my client used some kind of antique to commit these crimes? How else do you think he'd have gotten away with this 5 other times? If he tried to buy a gun legit, he probably failed the very first psych check. And even jailbroken pieces are only good for so long before update withdrawal sets in. So then M54, that's model year 2054. A 30-year-old gun. 2054, so it's 2084. Okay, cool. I think they said that already. But you know, I can't be expected to remember everything in these games, can I? Well, that sure complicates things, doesn't it? In some ways, sure. But pre-tagging firearms are rare. Gotta be less than 1,000 of them left in the whole country. And fewer still compatible bullets. The ammunition would have to be over 30 years old, too. The novelty of this weapon has kept us in the dark so far. But now that we have our hands on it, it's gonna put him away for good. Archive department complained loud as hell about how deep they had to dig. With the protocols they found, the techs were able to match the rifling marks on all 6 bullets to the gun of your client was found with. Rifling marks. Bullets fired from the guns that are old are marked by the barrel shape. So if all 6 bullets had the same rifling marks, we know that they were all fired by the same gun. It's not as plug-and-play as tags are, but it's equally precise science, I assure you. And if that's not damning enough, the spent casings from the other 5 shootings were still in the chamber. We knew that. Without even needing to reload. The caliber your client was found with is the gun HK used to kill 6 women. No way to lawyer around that. An untagged gun. Just being anywhere near a weapon like that could warrant your arrest. Being found by the police over a dead body with an untagged gun used at 5 other crime scenes is just... To summarise then, you believe that my client fought verbally, then physically with his girlfriend, and then he retrieved his weapon and shot her? Yeah, pretty much. But that seems out of character with like a serial killer, right? How did he look when the officers found him? Guilty. How was his effect? Quiet. Detached. Stiff. Not exactly the picture of a grieving partner. That reaction may have lost him points with the cops, but beyond that, people react to loss in all kinds of unusual ways. And so long as the police are suspicious of you, there's no right way to grieve. Details, give me details. So, how about the basics? What exactly has my client been charged with? Your client, Carlos Baca Flat, was arrested on the scene at 9:50 PM. Using his middle name already. They really do think he's a serial killer. The charge being the first-degree murder of his girlfriend, a Mrs. Diane Dawn. First degree, that's increasingly rare, to say the least. It's rare for us to get handed anything but crimes of passion around here. City's got damn near more cameras than people, so you gotta be really, really stupid to try and get away with murder. Well, Heartbreak's gotten away with it 6 times. Well, 5 times. This is the 6th time. So what's that make him? 5 times. And that makes him insane. I was going to go with extraordinary. Let's split the difference and say he's extraordinarily insane. But nut jobs like that aren't renowned for their ability to think ahead. So what makes you think this was premeditated? How about the fact that he stalked and killed 5 other women as a warm-up? A warm-up? 5 previous bullets. 5 previous victims. None of them knew each other, lived near each other, worked in the same fields. Weeks of digital autopsies, crawling up and down their online profiles. Nothing. So this serial killer chose his victims at random. If they have nothing in common, Yeah, nothing in common at all. Other than that they all look like cousins. What? The physical similarities are striking. All 5 prior victims were young women, with brown hair and eyes. About the same height, comparable weight. Well, those features aren't exactly uncommon. Couldn't it be a coincidence? If you really believe that, you should quit your job and start buying lotto tickets. Leave me alone, I've just met you. HA's got himself a type. Anyone can see that. Really gonna try and tell me you don't see the resemblance? A young woman, brown hair, brown eyes. Can't tell how tall she is from the portrait, but I can take the hint. So you think, what exactly? That Carlos Flat wanted to kill his girlfriend so badly he went out and shot 5 other women first? Hey, if the shoe fits. It doesn't make sense though, does it? If the shoe fits. Then you put the shoe on the... What Sunshine means is that it's not uncommon for killers to displace their violence from people close to them onto outlets with fewer consequences. Drifters, loners, strangers, workers. He was probably building up the nerve for tonight by first practicing on these other, similar women. Or he's just so far gone that he can't tell the difference anymore. It's not the worst theory in the world, but it doesn't fit. They want to claim that those previous victims were practice runs, dress rehearsals for tonight's main event. But if that were the case, there'd have been signs of hesitation, nerves. There'd have been mistakes. On top of which, guns are impersonal, execution shots, even more so. There's no sadism or hatred or intimacy in a single bullet to the heart. Killing your girlfriend or her lookalikes usually is, if nothing else, a lot less sterile. If you ask me. What are those weird moments for? Thanks for the chat, detectives. I think I understand the background well enough now. Candidly, I see the same strokes you do, and the picture it paints isn't pleasant. But even so, it seems a bit unrefined to be brought before a judge, don't you think? Hey, it's only our job to catch the bastard. The DA is the one who gets the conviction. Besides, we're not exactly going to have to work hard to convince anyone of his guilt. And why is that? Because we found a handwritten confession at his desk. Well, that's going to be difficult to work around. Unexpected. I'm sorry, you're now telling me that he wrote a confession. Has it been verified? And I guess we're going to find out next time on Borderline Games if it's been verified. Next time on this episode of What This Is Called. Thank you for so much for watching this episode of What This Is Called, and it is called Of the Devil. And I will see you next time. Have a good evening. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.